business owner, a millionaire, a successful business owner, a happy person, a great mother, a great boss, a great leader. Oh my God. I met with Anu for like 2 hours. I was eating most of the time, her amazing food. And like I couldn't stop asking her questions. I'm like, we have to stop this because we need to ask you those questions in front of the audience.
Why not?
I'm one of the believers that it would be really, really challenging to succeed as a woman in being a wife and being a mother and being a businesswoman at the same time. She did it. And I want to learn how. So, first question for you, Anu. How did you make your first million? And when?
Well, I was not thinking that I made $1 million, till I read the financial statement in 2020.
Nice.
2019, we did less than $1 million. It was close to it. But in 2020, then I made more than
How
one.
did you feel? Like, what was the first
Yeah, I
reaction?
was surprised. Literally, I was surprised that we did around 1.2 million, I called my accountant. I said, is this what it is? He says, yes, you have been busy, And then from there on, we have been consistent.
Who's the first
over
person
and-
you called to tell that you made this year 1.2 million?
I tell my daughters.
Your daughter,
I
I'm
just
sure.
did the screenshot and I sent it to my daughters. I say, we have done over 1 million. I can't believe it,
Did you think of something you want to purchase right now as a reward for yourself? It can be real estate, a car, vacation.
I did buy my SUV, Mercedes, at that time.
We should go for
And
a
I
ride.
paid in full,
Wow, you paid it in full too. Look at you.
paid cash for it.
Good for you. Good for you. Anu, did you ever struggle to make the ends meet? Did you ever struggle to pay the bills?
Touch wood, we have been very consistent, and there are times, in a year that you have to watch it, that you're not going overdoing it. So most of the time we did our bills. We are, named as AAA for paying our bills. So I'm consistent with that.
That's good. You're very
Yes.
committed.
Very committed.
You
First I have
never
to pay the bills, then anything else.
You don't spend recklessly. That's
no,
the key.
I've done few times, but for the car, of course, I did.
Were you ever in a situation where you had some extra money and you didn't know what to do with it before you learn how to invest it and all this stuff? Or
No, I know what to do with my money,
nice.
Money is always, you
You
should
were
know.
born smart.
You should know about your money,
If you know how to make it, you know how to use
how
it.
to use it.
I know my co-host and audience, they don't know your story. How did you come here? What happened? Why did you come here? How did you pitch yourself to come here? The whole story, if you can share it in about 2 minutes.
In 2
Because I know they're very excited to know it.
Yes. No, the way I came is because my father passed away in 73. And I was doing my master's at that time, history of art and Indian classical dance. I was the third in the line. My sister had already got married. My brother was also in States. And I said, how the hell we are going to pay bills? Because in those days, insurance was not big, I'm coming, from the university and I'm talking to myself, I got a thought that my uncle was in Windsor, Ontario. And I was known for taking care of the house, chores and cooking and all that. And so they all knew about it. So I said, because he's in Canada, people will think if I know English or not, in order to go study there to help me out. So I wrote a 17-page letter in English, tried to sell myself that I'm
To your uncle.
to my uncle, because my father was very respected in the family, and people knew in the family that I was the one who took care of the house, many times. Because my mother had eczema, and the first bread that I learned to make was from my father, the roti, they make on the flat pan. So I wrote him, I said, I can take care of my mom and my 2 younger brothers if you call me. And I'm highly educated. I can work as a curator in the museums and I can make money. So I kind of, put everything on the paper. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember that I did tell him that I can make it here. And I used the time period because when somebody goes 6 months, everybody, is in a
Emotional
down,
with you,
emotionally,
yes.
upset.
So you took
and
this as an advantage.
I took that as an advantage. I say after 6 months, nobody will remember. So everything thought came into my head while walking to my home from university that I have to get it over with ASAP. And that's what I did. And after 6 months, I had the visa in my hand, and
Oh
I
my God.
traveled alone from India. My mother came to the bus stop to drop me there so that I can go to Delhi. I couldn't believe that I'm saying bye to her at the bus stop. So that's how I came to this country.
You got here.
I got here.
What was your first job?
First job was my aunt told me that nobody can help you. This is the street name in Windsor. You take the bus from here and you go start looking for jobs. And that's what I did, And also I wrote to many museums and all that. I went, for interviews also. But because I was more like a critic for the paintings, when I see the painting, I know the whole perspective of it. But they needed also for somebody to paint also, which I didn't know. And that's why I could not be successful there,
Okay.
for getting jobs. But I did manage a retail store in Windsor once my husband came. Then I called him also. So he came.
How did you meet your husband?
I knew him in university, and my aunt wrote to my mom that don't send girls here in this country alone and all that stuff. Those old school, because they...
Did you see how she said it? He's like, don't send them here alone.
Yeah,
and
so
stuff.
I came alone, but my mother got me engaged to this friend I knew, asked him that Indu has got now the visa, and if you want to go, marry her. I didn't know that. For 2 weeks, I didn't know. I didn't see him for 2 weeks before coming and all that. And I told my mom, I said, I don't know, where is he? I haven't met him in the university and all that. Then my sister was visiting at that time, and she said, we have asked him to go check with your parents if he wants to marry Indu. I said, really? Because I was not in love with him, but I knew him as a friend. I said, okay, maybe he was very helpful, during when my father also passed away. He never flirted with me, if you ask me. I never felt,
And you like that?
And in the end, I was thinking that somebody will, flirt with me. But he never did.
Did he flirt after, though? After the marriage? First week?
Nothing.
Really?
So
He needs to give me a call. I'll train him a little
Yes.
bit.
But now we are not together for the last 10, 15
That's
years.
why? Because he
Yes.
didn't flirt?
No, because we didn't match our energies.
Okay. Yeah.
But I wanted to have my children. I had my children. That's it.
So you own a restaurant. When did you buy this restaurant? When did you start it?
Was started in 87 for my brother, because my brothers came just after 2 years of my coming. I did my commitment. My mom came also. So in 87, he was working for digital computers, and he calls me. He says, I've resigned from here. I want to do restaurant. I say, you don't know how to even cook, and mom is cooking for you. How can you do it? He says, you are going to help me. I say, you trust me? He says, yes. So I came 6 months in 1987 to open his place. And he's very impulsive, After 3 years, he goes to Florida with his girlfriend. He says, I'm not coming back. I'm going to open the branch there. And you buy the restaurant. And I was working for Bell Canada at that time. I said, no, I'm not buying. I'm all settled. I just bought the new house in Toronto, in Markham. And I said, no, I don't want to come. The whole year left like that. My mom won't let him sell outside. After 1 year, again he calls me. I said, no, I'm okay. I don't need to buy. The same week, we had a huge meeting in Bell Canada. If anybody wants to upgrade, there's 500, 600 people, and the meeting is going on. People can take leave of absence for education, this, that. I go to my manager. She's giving leave of absence. She says, why don't you go and do your dream now? This is the best time. I said, my brother has called me to buy his restaurant. So you're going to give me 3-year leave of absence? She says, yes. I repeated, to her. I said, 3 years. She says, yes. I called my brother. I said, I'm ready to take your restaurant. How much? 50,000.
When was that? 1997?
92.
Plus 3 years?
92. I opened in 87. 92 he wants.
87, okay.
50,000 in those days is quite a bit,
Oh, yeah.
for a 38-seat restaurant and all that. And I said, half the paintings are mine over there. Why you're asking 50? As a sister,
And I was the one who's cooking the food?
never got paid also.
Wow.
He said, no, I need 50. I said, what the hell, 50? I called up my insurance companies. I borrowed almost 22,000 same day from the insurance. We had endowment policies in those days. And the rest we borrowed from private loan and all that. So 92 June, I was in Ottawa.
So you paid him how much?
50.
You paid him 50, the asking price.
I called my mom. I said, tell him to take 40. It's a 40-seat restaurant, 1,000 per seat, 40,000. Because I'm a bargainer. And mothers, they're more for the boys.
Really?
Yeah.
You should know that.
No, I don't know.
You would know that, but I would know that.
You would know
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, so she says, no, I'm not going to come in between. You guys decide. So I said, okay, he has asked for 50, I gave 50. Plus, 5,000-6,000 you need to start the till, for your supplies and all that. So it was very tough at that time.
You told me the first day you opened the restaurant, you still remember how much
I made.
money you made?
Yeah, when I opened for my brother, I pushed him on the floor. I said, go get me the order. I'm ready, everything is ready for me. Because we don't come from the cooking business family of the restaurant, he was shy. And I pushed him on the floor. I said, the customer has come, get me the
So
order.
you got the client in the room, in the showroom, but no one would take the order because you guys
So
are
I
shy.
had to tell my brother, I said, go get me. He wouldn't go.
So you pushed them.
I pushed him. He got me the order and then we made $50 that day.
Oh, first day, $50.
First day, $50. I
Did you
said, "Look,
guys make money from the first year?
first year we were making money. My main goal when I start something is that just don't go haphazardly. You have to put some kind of a benchmark. So because Indian food, when you go in those days, you go order food, sometimes you don't get food for an hour. 1 hour we are waiting, no food, this, that. So I had on my own self-learning that I'm going to duplicate. My benchmark was McDonald's.
Okay.
I said, they give so fast, That's the only way later on, many years after I saw the documentary, the guy who took over McDonald's and how he followed that.
You're like, I know it.
I said,
figured it out
that's
too.
what I'm going to do. I told him, I said, I will be like a second McDonald's. My order comes in, it has to go out in 15 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that.
Still takes 10
Still
to
it
15 minutes?
takes that. And the recipes have to be just like McDonald's, all standardized. I cannot, make one day butter chicken like this and the second day like that. So the taste has to be consistent.
You have
The
a system.
gravies have to be consistent. The measurements have to be consistent. And I'll make my own, spices. I'll grind my own spices. I weigh them, I grind them. I don't buy, all these ready-made garam masala or this, that.
I see.
I don't.
So you mentioned you watched this documentary and you learned something. Have you read any business books to help you improve your business, or it was more like
No,
self-taught?
while I was in Bell Canada, I had studied a lot of marketing, financial, videos in those days, VHS videos from the library. I used
Yes.
to see them, and then I did do some marketing courses and financial courses in Toronto, in Centennial College, and then in Ottawa also I did some. But it is like self-learning more. Somebody who doesn't know anything opened a business. It was my story was that at that time. I love to learn as you go all the time. I am always open to that.
So I'm just thinking, because I'm hearing your story and I'm noticing that your family is a big part of how you got to Canada.
Yes.
And I'm also just wondering, you said you studied art. What
Yes.
kind of
History
art?
of art, European art and Indian art.
So-
masters in that.
So when you were studying that, did you have any specific visions about what it is that you actually wanted to do? Or have you always known that you wanted to start your own business and be financially independent? Because it doesn't sound like you were married prior to making this decision.
Yes, no, when I was in India, I was not married at that time, still studying. Things, sometimes you don't decide, but they come to you. And I feel that when they come to you, you should not, say, oh, no, I cannot do this. My whole mindset is that I can do it.
You're open for the opportunities.
Yes.
If an opportunity come your way, you take it.
If anybody asks me anything, I'll say I can do it. Even if I don't know, at that time I'll say I can do it.
That's a Middle
no
Eastern
matter,
thing to do.
no matter if I have to Google it.
Google it. That's true.
So I do that. Even my children, sometimes they used to ask me this. I say, okay, no, I'll let you know soon. So I will go and research and do it. And at that time, when the thought came that I should leave this country, because in Canada and America, there are opportunities. And I wrote that letter to my uncle. So that thought, I had to follow to that thought. It was like, I can do it.
Is there a particular reason why you chose Canada?
Because my uncle was here. Otherwise, there was
So-
no way I could have come to this country. And it was a dependent category. My father was alive or something, then maybe he wouldn't have been able to sponsor me. So it was a very particular category that I
So
could come in.
Would you say that you're very practical in just being open to opportunities and then
I'm
whatever
very
presents
practical.
itself?
I'm very practical for that. In life, you have to be practical.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What gets you out of bed?
Work.
What gets you
Talking
work?
to people.
Talking
Yeah,
to
sometimes at night I can't wait to be in the morning so that if I have to do something, I want to be ready.
So every day you have this excitement that you want to
Yeah.
get out of bed
Yes.
and get to life. What is the first thing you want to do? Like what is like for me, I want to wake up, I want to solve problems. I want to see chaos.
Yes.
You want to wake up and see people and talk to people and
Yes,
serve.
I love to do that. I get up, I have to be ready by 9:30. I'm ready and have my breakfast, and my restaurant is just across the road now. I always like to live close to work.
Have you been ever afraid to leave the bed because you might have a problem that you need to solve?
No.
That's an answer every entrepreneur and every business owner have. They're
Yes.
always excited to wake up
Yeah.
and see what kind of problem do I have today so I can have
We
fun
are problem
with it.
solvers. I never say we have a problem. I always say that we can solve the problems.
What is a small thing that happened to you and changed your perspective about money? Or have you been always thinking about money the same way?
Like when we were new, we didn't have enough money.
When was that?
When I came in 76,
Okay.
I didn't have money that much.
Okay.
I was controlled how much I can spend on the groceries. In those days, I was given $20 to buy 1 week groceries sometime.
Okay.
So those things used to, because when I was growing up, we don't have kind of restrictions. But when I got married and came to this country and someone is controlling you, you feel very, claustrophobic. So those things were grinding for me. But I came to Toronto, got my first job in the insurance company and all that. Slowly, you feel okay. That when I took over the business, the money was flowing.
Nice.
Nicely flowing.
And you really wanted to start making more money just because you don't want to be controlled anymore with someone
No.
telling you don't
Nobody
don't
can.
spend.
After
stop
that,
spending. So who was
That's it.
who was controlling? Was it your husband or your brother or your uncle?
my husband.
Your husband. And then when you started making money from the business, did he try to control, or you're like, I'm making this money?
No,
shut
there
up.
was a time that I had to put my foot down.
Okay.
I took my foot down and I said, that's it. Nobody. Then I came to know that controlling was nothing. I was scared of no reason.
You allowed them to control
Yes. So the day I said no,
you. He said, okay.
it was perfect. And all the money matters came to me. I say, I know how to manage money. I'm an educated person.
I made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who is making recipes. I haven't taken any professional course. I have my brain. I can do it. Why do I have to all the time, And I never asked anybody anything. Even when I was young, my mother used to tell her, I said, give me 200 rupees. I have to go buy my material and I will make my own suits and all that in those days. So, and we were very independent at home. My father worked for Liver Brothers, the company. And we used to feel we are very rich. Even if we didn't have so much, but because there was so much compassion, love, nobody's controlling you. We are free to walk around, go see movies, and we are getting education. So we never felt we don't have that much money. But still, I know that we didn't have that much money, but we were never felt like that. So money is fine, you have it. But that doesn't mean money is going to control you. You can control money. When I opened the restaurant, I said, I can control my business and the money if my food is quality food. I have to present the food so that I can get repeat customers. If the day my food is not good and if I cannot have it, I cannot feed it. I will throw it away and redo the food. Because there are times when I'm making my recipes, I had to set my recipe. And when I feel, okay, maybe the coriander is too much or this is too much, so I can't fix it, but I can't feed it then because the review will be bad. So I had to literally, control my food, the recipes, and the comments. Then people started commenting. And one day I was very, very busy. I said, what the hell is happening? And I was saying, I hope I get a review that we are a very distinguished restaurant. You sometimes imagine things. So I was doing all that, prior to that. And my husband was also working at that time. So I'm so busy, I'm cooking in the kitchen. And I said, I don't know what has happened today. It's so damn busy. And a customer brought a newspaper, literally written like this, Distinguished Indian Cuisine.
Wow.
So I said, what you say sometimes, God gives you.
That's
All
true.
thing is, you have to ask for it.
Law of attraction.
Attraction, law of attraction.
And work for it.
It does work for you. You should ask.
Did you actually imagine being successful before it actually happened? Like, were you imagining in your mind this article or anything like that?
I never felt that I cannot be successful.
So it's a mind, like it's always been a mindset.
Always a mindset, that's how you do things, I feel. A lot of people come to me now for advice and all that. I just say, I'm blunt also. People come for advice for their fights also, and I say, okay. But also, your mindset should be like that. And also, you should be able to criticize yourself. If something is not right, you should be able to take accountability.
You have to be your biggest fan and your biggest enemy at the same time. You have to criticize yourself big time, and you have to also reward yourself for doing a good job.
For sure, you must do that. Because that way, you have the perspective of both the negative and the positive.
For like the self-awareness component that you're talking to us about, do you think that it has to also come with a level of emotional maturity at all?
Yes.
And do you want to like a little bit? Yeah, just tell us a little bit more about that.
You should always be aware of yourself. I think I had written something. I like to write quotes also. And I always say, awareness is very important for you, because if you're not aware, how you're going to proceed. And also the thoughts in your mind, I say, I've done my bachelor's in psychology. I used to think, psychology is where I can really, feel. But I say awareness is very important. Psychologically, you have to think how you're going to proceed things in life. You can ask me your question again, please.
Do you want me to repeat the question? I'm hearing you talk about your mindset, and I can't help but wonder that there's a level of self-awareness that you have.
Yes.
And I've found just, at a personal level that there's a significant difference between being emotionally mature and simultaneously self-aware. So when it comes to visualization, like I feel like some people are actually afraid of good things. So they almost discourage themselves from imagining a particular scenario in their own mind. And so they're never actually training themselves emotionally to be ready for that good thing that they could be dreaming about. And it doesn't have to be in business, but I would imagine in business, like it could possibly assist, but I'm not sure. So I just wanted to ask your opinion on that.
No, I'm very clear about that. That self-awareness is when your thoughts are jumping in your head for a simple thing. And then you say you're afraid to do it. People are afraid to do it. I say that if you're getting thoughts and you feel you're afraid to do it, put it on a paper, execute. You must on the paper first execute it and see what is the feasibility of that thought. So if that thought is there, don't just keep it, because thoughts sometimes are fleeting and you will forget. So at that time, say that if I get a very good thought and I say, okay, then I like to put it on a paper, at least, that I had this thought. Because many times I have such good thought and I didn't write it, and I keep thinking what was the thought, and it was such a good thought. So it is good to write it down and try to execute it.
Are you a fan of making to-do lists, goals lists, 5 years plan? Do you do all those, or just you wake up, you work hard, you work smart, and you get it done?
I tell you, I did have a 5-year plan when I came to Ottawa.
Okay.
Because Toronto is very lively. I came here. I said, I'm not going to stay here for 5 years. That was the plan, that after 5 years, I'll move to States.
And you're still here. You're still
And
in
can you
Ottawa.
believe? I'm still here.
You mentioned
So
Ottawa.
how to make plans? Because Toronto is a fast city. Ottawa, 8 o'clock is dead. So where the hell have come?
What did I do?
What did I do?
I know
On
someone
top
asked
of it,
themselves this question
it is
before.
so cold. 5 years, sometimes you make a plan and it doesn't come right. But that's okay.
But do you still make plans? Do you make a to-do list for the week, a mission, or you just wake up,
I
work,
just, go with the flow.
go with the flow? That's
I
good.
like to do that. If there are plans, I do write it down and I'll see when it can be done.
You mentioned Canada. I'm going to ask you a little bit of a sensitive question. I would really hope I get the answer. Do you feel a business owner in Canada, Ontario, is supported by the government, or is looked at as this person is making lots of money, taking advantage of the little employees? What's your thoughts around that?
So government is, I say I'm working for the government. People work for the government and they're so happy. We have secured our life working for the government. In last couple of years, I told myself, I said, I'm not working for myself. End of the month, I'm paying HST. I'm paying this. I said, actually, I'm working for the government.
That's right.
But only thing is, I'm making more money.
Okay. So
And I'm employing people now. I tell you, that was the best thing I think I came out with when I bought the business. Is I was an employer. And no, I was an employee. And now I'm an employer.
So tell me a
that
little
was
bit more
the
about
main
this.
thing.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm working for the government. I'm not working for
So do you think they should, in Ontario, they should support businesses more? They should loosen up on them a little bit more?
They should loosen up for sure.
In what way? Is it the taxing? Is it the labor board? What is it?
Taxing for sure. During COVID, they gave money to people whose business was 70% down or 75% down.
Yes.
I think. During COVID, we were lucky. We did get, the subsidy they gave, 40,000.
SIBA, something like
SIBA,
this?
yes, 40,000 and 20,000 more, and 40,000 was supposed to given back, which I've already given.
That's good.
And all these loans were easy to get at that time.
That was supportive. That was good.
That was
good
very
support.
supportive. Even now, my daughter, she got me the loan, 0% interest from
CDAP.
something.
CDAP.
Yeah.
Yes. Now
So
we're
that is there.
advertising the government
Yes,
programs.
yes. So there was another one also. No, government is doing their part. I'm not saying they're not doing, but if they can lower the taxes and all that, because employee tax is very high, source deduction that we give for employees is very high. So if something can be helped there, then you can employ more people.
That's right.